Slash and Cast.
Also, there's one little bit I forgot.
I'll sit up straight for this.
All right.
58, episode 58, everybody.
Episode 58 in the house. We're excited. We've got a great guest today. You know him from Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3. I can't remember if they brought him back for Scream. I don't think he was in Scream 4. They talk about him a lot. Malibu's Most Wanted, kicking it old school. Dude has been in everything, even in
Jamie Kennedy.
Harold and Kumar. What? What'd you say?
I just said Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
Which blows it. But
Yeah. Well, he could have been just an actor on the Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
That's true.
Okay, it's Jamie Kennedy.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to bring him in a second. But real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to our buddy at One Man Riot.
Woo!
Right. One Man Right. It's supposed to be Riot, but it's Right. R-I-E-T. Anyway, he does these amazing old school style blacklight posters that
cool.
He's been kind enough to give Chris and I a couple of these, and I'll drop in some pictures of them here because we don't have them handy with us at the moment. But great stuff. Does some really cool Halloween stuff. He did a really cool Halloween 2018 one. He did a Halloween 3 one, American Werewolf in London. So much cool stuff. Check him out online. One Man Riot. Good stuff. Highly recommend it.
Thank you, sir, for those posters. Awesome
Thank you.
work.
Yes, we appreciate it. And now, our guest. Watch the magic. Do that. Move your arms a lot. You gotta move your arms a lot. Now, okay.
Oh my God, it's perfect that I have this thing here.
Nice poster.
Thank you.
So, the way we usually do things here is Chris and I come on first, we talk about crap, and then we invite the guest on. But I thought I'd mix it up a little this time and just have you be part of the conversation. And then
all right,
we'll integrate interviewing you into just us talking about random shit, whether it be movies we've seen recently, things that bother us. We have a get off our lawn segment, get off my lawn, shit that bothers us. I can go on all day about that stuff.
Yeah.
And usually do. Surprisingly, though, I don't have as big a list this time of the get off my lawns. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I had a list last time when we did our live show and I threw it away by accident. But life is a get off my lawn for me, man. I can't tell you how many things irritate me on a daily basis, but I don't write them down. But
well, we should have Jamie and I should do a convention get off my lawn. The things that bother us at conventions. There's plenty.
I'd like to hear those.
Wow. You could have a whole bunch of them, but this weekend was smooth as silk.
Yeah, this week, I mean, as far as the convention goes, yeah, the convention was, we just came back from Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, and what an amazing show, what a well-run show, everything top-notch from the hotel to the transportation to the green room to the staff and volunteers. I mean, not a single complaint. I mean, really just like knocked it out of the park. But there's always things that happen, weird fans or just, this stuff always happens. But anyway, for all of you that don't know, and if you're watching this show, how could you not know that our guest is none other than Jamie Kennedy, aka Randy from the Scream universe, B-Rad from Malibu's Most Wanted, Jamie Kennedy Experiment, or it was Experiment, right? Not Experience. Every day is an experience, but Experiment.
Yeah, Experiment.
Yeah. I mean, and countless
It
other.
was a great show. A great show.
Countless other films. And stand-up comedian, and you're wearing one of your latest films right there, Don't Suck.
Yeah. Don't Suck. You can see it now, Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Don't Suck. The sequel will be Start Sucking.
Are they doing a sequel?
No, not yet. But
Okay.
could be funny. Thank you, buddy. It's good to be here, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Well, we've been talking about it forever, but we've just kind of, since Chris and I are so busy, we don't really have any type of set schedule for recording these things. It's just like when we can make it work, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But thank you for being here, Jamie. I really appreciate it. It's always great to see you, and I love seeing you at conventions. And I enjoyed our last get together, which we were playing the game Shithead, right?
Yes.
Where were we playing Shithead?
Wasn't it?
He played Shithead.
Oh, was that in
played
Pittsburgh?
Shithead.
Was that Pittsburgh?
That was Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't the Shithead.
I was the Shithead once.
You were.
So was I think, that game. I think I was too once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
It's
was fun.
tough when everybody gets you and then they start calling you Shithead.
That's not fun.
No.
we were in Skeet's room in that not so great hotel that is now shut down.
What hotel?
The DoubleTree there in Monroeville.
Is it shut down?
Yeah, they closed it like a week ago permanently.
No.
Apparently, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, I had a good time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did too. That was fun.
It's not. It was. Let's be honest. Not the greatest hotel. Pretty old. Pretty whatever. But a lot of fun. So
A lot of fun. Wait,
I have
Chris,
a question.
I thought we played cornhole too.
Oh, that was at Sean's place
Yeah, that was
for
it.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas, yeah. I have a question for you, Jamie, real quick. Do you, because it's just off the top of my head, you do a lot of conventions, right? You do a lot of these conventions. Do you remember all of them? Do they all bleed into each other? Are there specific things that you take away from each one? Like, I'm curious, doing so many of them.
I started thinking about that the other day. I was in DFW, which, by the way, the idea of having a place in Texas is not a terrible idea, because I look at that as the hub, and I think conventions are just going to get more popular. And like, it's such a beautiful, 2.5 hours from everywhere. And I was like, this is so interesting. But I was thinking about that because I was thinking, like, when I start working with Sean, the first 5 I did, I remember. Then we had the shutdown. And then I did my 6th one, which was in Mad Monster in Phoenix in the summer of 21. And everybody was half in, half out. And then when we came back and did Horror Hound in Cincinnati in February 22, that, the whole game changed for us, and especially, me too, as well. The Scream thing just became insanely popular. So it's a different game now. I remember some of them, like, they do start blending in, like, throughout the day. My big thing is like interactions. Sometimes it's such an emotional exchange. I always tell people it's not hard work, but it's intense work in terms of, like, wanting to give the people the right vibe and making sure that you gave them enough time and making sure you met their needs. And when I went from a woman and her daughter, it was like a thing, and they were just so cute together, and it was just fun, to, the person that, doesn't really look in the eye and looks to the ground, to another woman who was just crying her eyes out, to someone else that said they used to watch it with their best friend forever. So you get all these different emotions, and that's the biggest thing I try to remember. I'm like, did I give them enough time? But that's
got to be emotionally draining, probably. Yeah.
It definitely is, dude. Like, it's funny.
That's what we talked about at dinner. Remember? We talked about that at dinner Sunday night, about how emotionally draining it is for, like, Matt was talking about it. Remember?
But in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad.
Not always way. In a good way. Like
Not
people
always an
come
easy
up
thing.
and, you know, they start getting real heavy about death and how they were going to commit suicide, and their, you know, movies saved their movies saved them, and like I mean, it really, honestly, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan would always say that that was the reason he it was hard for him to do conventions, because he said it really weighed so heavily on him emotionally that it was just like he felt like just completely beat up after a convention, because he's taken in so much emotion from people,
Sure. Sure.
that it you know, it's heavy on you. You know, if you're hearing person after person saying how they were going to kill themselves or something, or this and that, or my mom passed away yesterday and she was your biggest fan, and all this heavy stuff, you know, it drains you. I mean,
Yeah. That's what I would add to it. It's like you have just all of these really intense interactions, and you want to make sure that everybody feels like they're heard, you know? And then and I mean, it's incredible. We're so blessed, but it's busy. It has been super busy. And it's like, did I give them enough time? You know, and then like you'll run in, like everything Sean says, plus then you'll run into like, you know, I'll run in, well, it's like William Zabka is my boy, you know, so I love him. So I'm comfortable with him, you know, so I have a shorthand with him. But if like I run into somebody that I really admire, I'm like, oh God, did I have a right moment? Was that a weird exchange? You know what I'm saying? It's like, so certain celebrities, you know, like, you know, and you're cool with, and other ones you're like, oh, was that odd? You know, so there's a lot. But I also remember some of my early ones. I
was going to ask you about the early ones, like, because you weren't really digging it at first.
No, I should really be full transparency. So I was sitting at Comic-Con. I went to Comic-Con every year from 2008 to 2012. And
San Diego Comic-Con?
Mm-hmm. And I always heard about it. And reason I went is because it became part of our press tour, right? So I had two shows. I was Ghost Whisperer, and I was on Cleveland show. And then I was on a Nickelodeon show called Fanboy and Chum Chum. And so all three of those shows sent us. So I would be doing panels. I remember one year Seth was like, did like 4 panels. He's like, I'll let you take the lead on this one. And we would do Hall H, you know? And other times I would do these little tiny booths for Nickelodeon, or I would do a pretty great hall for Ghost Whisperer. So I would have like 5 events every weekend. And it was every year. I think that was like, I remember hearing about it in 99, but I felt like it started ramping up in the mid 2000s. And when I started going, it started becoming a part of our press whenever you do press for a show. And a couple of people came up to me. I was eating at the Hard Rock at the cafeteria, and they said, I'm so-and-so, and I'm so-and-so. And have you ever thought about coming to one of these and signing autographs? Had no idea. I'll never forget. I was eating breakfast. I'm like, what is that? And they go, we think you would make good money. Gave them my number. They texted me like within like 2 months. I was at my first con, which I believe was Blood at the Beach in Virginia Beach.
The only show the first show that ripped me off. one of 3.
And it was wow. And it was me, and it was Serena Vincent. And I want to say the girl, and I'm sorry, I forget her name. She was in I Spit on Your Grave, the sequel. Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. But beautiful, sweet girl. We were all kind of near each other. And
was that the weekend that had the weird science reunion and Rustler was there and Anthony Michael Hall?
It might have been, because I've seen Rustler like once or twice, and I'm a huge Rustler fan, but I haven't seen him that much. It might have been. This was like 12 years ago. It was my very first con. They got me a guarantee of $15,000. And I was like, this is a no-brainer. And I literally I remember sitting next to what you're at right now. Like there was a guy selling toys. Serena was kind of over there. I think Sarah was close to me. A wrestler chick was over here. But it was kind of like celebs, vendors, and we were all in our little booth. Like we all had our own little thing. And I just remember that I was like tucked away. It was like a it was like a dining hall. And that was like the first time I ever did it. I think I did well. I don't know if I made them my guarantee, but ever since that time, I never made that money again. I never, and the guarantees got less. A lot of stuff happened that I could take 25 podcasts for. But then when I met you, my whole, life changed and everything changed, and it's completely different. Going back to your first story, I do remember a crazy con in Germany. It was me. It was William Forsythe, who was my man. Nick Principe, me, Nick, Billy, Kim Coates, and we were all in this church. And we got a flat rate, and the church was fucking freezing. It was like a converted church. It was like a Rammstein or something. I don't know. And we were signing our heads off, and then we were bust in, bust out. And I just remember how cold it was. And I was like, yo, can we catch some heat? And they're like, oh, we can't do the temperature because it's a different temperature. Like, it was all this, like, it was fucking, and no matter what you signed, your rate was your rate. And a lot of shit happened on that trip, but I'll say I was fucking around a lot, right? Because I wanted to make sales. So I said something, and I said, I guess this isn't really good to say. I stood up and I was like, come on, don't be cheap, sauerkraut heads. Like that, right? Which was a joke. And fucking this guy came to the bar and he goes, we are not fucking sauerkraut heads, you fucking American. And he tried to tackle me. And Nick Principe, God bless his soul, fucking held him back. And he was like holding him back pretty simply. Wow. And the guy was so angry, he tried to fuck me up, and I kept fucking antagonizing him because I had Nick, and I was like, dude, calm the fuck down, bro. I'm sorry you guys lost the World Cup. Like, chill the fuck out. It got really intense in the hotel bar lobby. And Billy Forsythe's there, and he's just sitting there. He's like, am I going to have to fucking get involved? And he was the calmest fucking ruler of it. And eventually the guy got thrown out. But that was the only time somebody really wanted to beat the shit out of me.
Wow. Wow. That's a good story.
That's awesome.
Sauerkraut head. Is that bad? I'm sorry to say it.
No. It's awesome.
The thing is, I joked so much before I got with Sean. We joke all the time now, but I had so much free time. Like, I would sign an autograph, sit there, make a joke about how I'm a fucking Arby's, roast beef sandwich under the lights. Like, I did not have a lot of traffic at all. And then, obviously, when I got with Sean, every convention has been bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's like, he's changed. You changed my outlook, bro. You changed my outlook on it. You changed my belief on it. You changed what I believe this is going to be. I think Skeet said it brilliantly when he's like, everyone's always going to see a human living star. And as AI comes involved and more things are going to be digitized, seeing us is like seeing living pieces of art. And I think people are going to want to do it more and more.
I'm already starting to rep some AI, so I got AI Jamie Kennedy on the back burner, man. I can have you all over the world in the same weekend.
By the way, ABBA does it. Do you know that they have their avatars perform?
And now Kiss is going.
Kiss does it too, yeah.
Well, not yet, but they're going to.
But they're going to.
I don't think we actually ever touched on that, have we, on the show, the Kiss avatar thing? Because we're both big Kiss fans. I didn't go
old
to
Kiss
the
fans. Old Kiss fan. I'm an old kid.
Yeah, but I still went to the farewell tour and everything, but I didn't go to the final show. I just, in my heart, I knew that final show at Madison Square Garden was going to suck. I knew it wasn't, and they didn't do anything different. The only thing they did different was that ending where they announced the Avatar bullshit.
Right.
I'm sorry, man. I love you, Kiss. I've been there with you since the beginning. Come on with the avatars. Come on. I don't want to go see a digital kiss. No, I'm sorry.
No.
Good luck with that. Best of luck.
Does it look like the Tupac one at Coachella? I was there for that.
Well, that was like a hologram, right?
Yeah, it looked pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen the ABBA thing, which actually looks kind of cool, and I actually was interested in checking it out when I was in London last time because it was playing, and I just thought it'd be a neat experience. And maybe Kiss can do something with it where it is cool. I don't know. What I saw, what they debuted that night was not cool.
No, it wasn't impressive. It was pretty silly.
But they said that was an early rendering, like that needs a lot of work.
Well, then don't fucking release it if it needs a lot of work.
Exactly.
Like, don't do it. But
Does KISS stand for Kings and Satan's Service?
Knights and
Satan's Service. But it doesn't really stand for that. That was stuff that, like, mad moms made up back in the day.
Yeah.
What does it stand for?
Doesn't stand for anything. It's just KISS.
Doesn't stand for anything. It's just KISS.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no dots after each word. It's not like
not a KISS fan. Not a KISS fan. I take it, Jamie.
Oh no, I grew up with KISS. I know KISS.
You?
I grew up with. I remember when I was 7. That was the whole thing. It was like, you got the blood and you gargled it. Fake blood at recess. That was a big deal in 1977. Phantom of the Park.
The Phantom of the Park. Yeah.
I did an episode of CSI with Gene Simmons.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, he's cool, man. I got to know him, and I did Simmons Jewels, Family Jewels.
Oh,
so I'm a fan, but I always remember people saying that, so I never knew if it meant anything.
Yeah.
Well, come on, Love Doctor. I'm Dr. Love. I mean, come
on. So let's talk. I know we recently lost Richard Lewis, which really sucked. Did you know Richard at all, Jamie?
I didn't know him. I never knew him. I was a huge fan. Obviously, he was a legend of someone, and that really touched me and touched our community. And he's on the Mount Rushmore, but I didn't know him. But man, what a legend!
Yeah.
Let's talk about that since you brought that up, because we did a Mount Rushmore last show of horror icons and effects icons. Who is, well, you just put them on there so you can't go back on your word, but who are your top 4 Mount Rushmore stand-up comedians?
Oh, that's very hard to name, and it's always harsh because you leave people out, and it's like
you have to leave people out. I mean, I could take a shot at my 4. I'd have to go with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
I'd go Sam Kinison.
Okay.
Carlin, Eddie Murphy.
Wow.
I mean, it's a good mountain, but you left out Burr. You left out Chappelle.
I don't think they're. I love those guys. Love them. I don't think they're better than the 4 I just said.
You left out.
I left out Emo Phillips.
Yeah. Well, he's not as big. But Emo's a pioneer, man.
I know. I'm just teasing. I love Emo.
You left out, Dice. You've left out. It's hard, but I would say probably my biggest influence is Carlin and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Those are my biggest ones. That's what I was raised on. Like, that's everything. You're all diseased and obviously raw.
The albums
another one.
I had.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I had the comedy albums I had Lenny Bruce album.
Yeah, we left off Lenny.
Steve Martin.
Lenny Bruce. I had Steve Martin, which was, I had Robin Williams. I had Richard Pryor, and but Carlin's up there. I mean, Carlin's up there, but but Lenny Bruce was a big one for me.
Amazing. It was. Carlin is saying stuff that's still coming true.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, he's so prophetic. He's 35 years ahead of it. Like, he became what I think Chappelle is now, which is completely like philosopher almost
Yeah.
professorial. Like,
Absolutely.
there's things where when you get a laugh, it's a humongous laugh, but you're also thinking so much when you're watching them and thinking about the takes on such of societal things. So
especially in his later years, shortly before he died, he got a lot of people accused him of getting too dark. Like he was so dark, like everything. But he was
who? Carlin?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, he was accused of getting too dark in his later years, right before he died, but what he was doing to me was he was a really sensitive guy who was just heartbroken over humans and what we were doing to each other and how we were treating each other and all those things. And he was just so heartbroken over it. And I related to that. Just how and that's why everyone said, oh, he's too dark now. He's too dark. He's this bitter old man. And it's like, no, he's calling it like it is. And it's very prophetic. Like you said earlier, it was incredibly prophetic.
I remember my agent, I want to say it was like 96, right before he died. We were all at, I want to say Just for Laughs or one of those festivals. I think it was that. And my agent was there and he came back to a dinner that night. He goes, I think the most edgiest comic I just saw in the world is like a 72-year-old man, meaning George. It was one of his last festival appearances, and it was by far, he smoked everyone beyond. And he was like, we all need to like re-sign George Carlin. That's how ahead of the curve he was with all the new comics they were discovering. It was, and I was like, wow.
So did you ever get to see him live?
I never got to see him live.
I saw him live.
I saw him live. I saw him
twice. I saw him in Vegas once.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. This was
I saw him in Vegas when I was a kid.
Yeah, when it was like late 70s. It must be 79.
How old were you?
I was 11. That's when you could take kids into like casinos and like shows, and like it wasn't all, you couldn't take kids into stuff. Like I remember my mom and my stepfather would take us to Vegas once a year in the summertime because they would like to gamble. And they got tickets to the George Carlin show, and I went. I was 11 years old.
Dude,
I'm actually trying to figure out what year it was. I'm looking something up right now. 1984. 1984 I saw him in Vegas. The reason I knew, I looked up because my dad was a big Steve McQueen fan, and they were having a Steve McQueen auction in Vegas, and we went to Vegas for that auction. And while we were there, we went and saw George Carlin at it was either Caesars or MGM or one of those, probably Caesars. Yeah.
Dude, collecting's in your blood. That's crazy.
I know.
Wait, you know what's crazy is that the first stand-up comedy show I ever saw, and I didn't know I was going to do comedy or anything, was Sam Kinison, who's also, if the Mount Rushmore should be expanded, obviously he should be on it.
He was on mine.
Yeah, I know, but it's hard to just pick four. But, and I was 18, and that was in Atlantic City. I believe it was at the Sands. And that was the first comedy show I ever saw. And the opener was a guy named Jimmy Schubert, who I'll never forget. And Jimmy Schubert was one of the stars in this movie with me. And the stories that I told him about what I saw that night, and the stories that he would tell me, it was like just so wild to see him as 18 years old. And he was like 20 opening for Sam with, the rest of the Outlaws. And then to get to work with him was insane. But the second show I ever saw, think about this. First show was Sam Kinison. The second show was Gary Shandling. At the Ice House. And both absolutely torched the joint. Like, I couldn't even walk. I was dying laughing so hard. And I was like, when somebody said, "Oh, you should try comedy," I was like, how? Like, you could never even touch. Like, my first two comedians I saw were some of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
I think the first show I think Carlin might have been the first one I ever saw. I did see Kinison. I saw Kinison at the Celebrity Theater in Anaheim must have been 87, maybe. I'm guessing. I don't. Trying to think about.
Oh wait, I got one that everyone's forgetting and that I saw in Vegas. Don Rickles.
Oh,
Yep.
shit!
I saw Don Rickles. That
I may have to
know.
bump.
Yeah.
I may have to bump somebody for Rickles. I forgot. Yeah, Rickles is a total legend.
There's just too many to name in terms
There's
of
too
like,
many.
in terms of like what impact there's in terms of global comedians. You know, there's people that'll sell tickets. You know, I don't think anyone has ever sold more tickets than Kevin Hart. You know, but like, you know, there's other people like Joan Rivers completely pioneered, like, you know, along with Lenny Bruce, like a dirty talk. You know what I mean? Like, Eddie Murphy pioneered the comedy and movie star combo. Like, it's just too many. It's hard.
Yeah, it's too many. Yeah.
What have you heard anything, you know, within the comedy world of did Eddie just decide not to do because he was gonna come back and do stand up again and then it kind of just went quiet? Have you heard anything?
I'll tell you what I heard. You know, he's one of my idols, so I tread lightly, but I got to work with him in Bowfinger. I didn't really get to talk to him that much, but I just was like, you know, just like a fly on the wall, and I would just listen. But it's
a great movie.
Thank you, buddy. That was in my college, being with Eddie and Steve all summer. It was like, and then Frank Oz, you know, who it was like a triple beyond threat. And I got to work, and Eddie he did an album, then he did Delirious, then he did Raw, and he had peaked such an incredible peak he hit such a high, the biggest stand-up movie ever. And I think he was like, I did it. I mean, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I remember him saying, like, you know, he ended it on the highest notes of highest.
Where do you go from there?
Yeah. And it's crazy, you know, God rest his soul, but I remember talking to Bob Saget, who told me, you know, I remember before he died, we were talking about it, and he was telling me how he watched Eddie work that out raw at the store. Bob was like hosting. And it's like he said, every night it just destroyed, it just blew the roof off, right? And so he ended, it was a different time. So he ended, and he becomes a full-blown megastar, does that forever. And then I think I heard that Netflix offered him $75 million. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that is what I heard, to do a special. And I think that, I don't know, but my theory is if he, you know, he felt like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of theories why he might not have done it. I don't know if that's true, but I haven't seen him out. I know everybody wants him to come out, but maybe he's thinking he left it at such a perfect high.
Yeah.
Why mess with it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like the Police. Go out on top and leave it there.
Yeah. I mean, comedy, and unfortunately now, the first time I heard some of Richard Pryor's bits, and they obviously, when I saw like Sunset Strip, how insanely brilliant that was. I had heard some of the recordings from comedy nerds of him working it out in the clubs, and they weren't the same reaction, right? But that's what you do. It's like I always tell people, comedy, the audience is the guitar, right? Right. You can practice your notes in your room until you get them right. Well, we can't do that, right? You can't practice jokes to nothing. So you got to work them out. And so Eddie, maybe I don't know, it's social media. Maybe you don't want to go out and try something if it doesn't work yet. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to practice in private now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is some time ago. This is years ago. I did a movie with Paul Giamatti. I was doing a movie with Paul Giamatti, and I was doing his makeup. And one day after work, it was a Friday night, I think it was, or something. Or no, maybe it was like a Wednesday night. I think it was like in the middle of the week. And we got off work, we went and had dinner, And we go, what do you want to, I was like, what do you want to do? And he goes, I want to go see some comedy. Let's go see some comedy. So we're like, okay, cool. So we went to the Comedy Store and went to the Comedy Store, and it was me, him, and maybe two other people in that joint. It was empty. Like, it was empty. And we're sitting there and we watch a comedian and we're like, okay, that was good. And then the guy comes up and he says, all right, next for our next comedian, blah, blah, blah. You know him, you love him, blah, 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 blah. Andrew Dice Clay. And this was Andrew had this is when Dice was in the lean period. Like, he would already blown up, done arenas, all that stuff. And then, then he had that quiet time. There was a quiet period of his career that he really didn't do much, or he wasn't very popular. I think, I don't know, whatever happened, but suddenly Andrew Dice Clay comes on stage and we're sitting, and Paul and I are like going, holy shit, it's fucking Andrew Dice Clay. Oh my God, and he killed it for four people, in the entire joint. He just fucking murdered us. And it was so goddamn funny. And it was some time after until he came back. I don't know. Did he ever come back? Has he ever come back?
He just played
kind of come back,
Carnegie
right?
Hall.
Right.
He's getting hotter than ever. Yeah.
He is, right? Yeah. He's coming back. But this was at that lull, and
there was a time. Well, first of all, that's a testament to Dice that no matter what, he'll come out and perform, which is brilliant. He's obviously one of our goats. But also the fact that there was a time where comedy was at a lull, you know what I mean? Like, you could go into clubs, and it wasn't nuts. But with podcasting and everything, people then get to know it. They get to know who they love, and the next thing you know, clubs started filling up, and then it just become. I say it's like 2014, 2015 is when the whole game changed, because you would go out and do 6 shows. I would do a college on a Wednesday, make really good money, right? I'd make like 20,000, let's say, right? And then I would do a club, and depending on the ticket sales, I'd make anywhere from 15 to 20, right? So let's just say 40, and I'm dead. That's 7 shows. And then I would come sleep and repeat it again. Unless I was doing a TV show, then I would have to, take 2 weeks off to shoot or whatever. When social media happened and the club started getting super hot again, because people were just posting where they were and crowds, and everyone was marketing like these shows are so fun. I'll never forget, like, Kevin Hart played like Madison Square Garden, and then like the Tuesday I saw him at the Laugh Factory, and I'm like, what? He's like, I'm working on my new shit. It was like, that's when it changed. Like, when people just you would do his stuff and he would take off. But it's like everyone works out everywhere now, and it just doesn't stop. And you can see anyone at any place.
Right. Let me ask you a question. I've always wondered about this. What is the Comedy Store? Is it Laugh Factory that's on Sunset, right over where the Coconut Teaser used to be?
Yeah, that's Laugh Factory.
Okay.
The store is down by
right by the Myers, or the Halloween Street.
Store is up by
the store's up by the
Riot House.
Yeah, by Pink Dot, I say. It's right up by there.
So every time I drive by the Laugh Factory, on their digital billboard, it's showing tonight, and they show the biggest fucking names in comedy. I'll be driving to a concert at, like, the Roxy or something. I'm at the light and I'm like, how the hell are all these guys playing here tonight? Is that bullshit, or is that real?
No, it's real, dude. People always, when they're in town, we'll do shows and we'll just pop in, and you'll see every name. You'll see Dane, and you'll see Eric Griffin, and you'll see, Tony Rock, you'll see Godfrey. I mean, it's just what it is. Think of it as the gym. These places used to be our gym, right? So then you would go and play. Here, this is something for you guys. I would work out there, and then I would get a big show at a place. Vegas didn't have many places, so I played a place called The Joint at the Hard Rock. Yeah. Remember, The Joint was mostly for bands. Yeah. And it was hard because it's like 1,100 seats. So if you sold 700 as a comic, you would do well, I'd say, So I would work out, and I'd have to do like It's actually better in Vegas because they don't want you to do more than 40 minutes and because they want people to go gamble. But I would like, that would be a show that you would work out for at these clubs. Well, when the clubs started getting so big again and so popular, and these, like you said, you have these big ass marquees, it's not a workout room anymore. It is the destination. So, and it's right on Sunset. So yeah, it's all true, dude. They don't false advertise. I did a show the other night. I did at the Improv. John Mulaney popped in, did his Oscar stuff, killed.
Wow.
Followed him, then went to Burr. I mean, went to Comedy Store. Then Burr popped in, followed him. I mean,
wow,
it's amazing.
That's huge.
Yeah, comedy fans in LA are super spoiled.
That's crazy.
Well, speaking of comedy, I was having this discussion with a friend of mine the other day. We went and had lunch, and he's a writer, and he's a comedy writer, and he's written a lot of sitcoms and created a couple movies. We were talking about the state of movies and the state of comedy in movies now, and how nothing is funny and there's no good comedies anymore. And like it used to be, you know, there was a comedy coming out every week and they were really funny and they were great. And now it's so, we were just complaining. This is a get off my lawn. We were just complaining at the fact of there's no good comedies to watch anymore. I go to scan or stream something like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I want to watch a movie and I want to laugh tonight. I want to laugh, you know, and I can't fucking find anything, you know, and what I do find is garbage. It's just garbage. It drives me fucking crazy as a huge comedy fan. You know what I mean? So the state of comedy right now in filmmaking is TV. It's a little different, I guess, maybe a little, not really, but I mean, Barry was funny. I thought Barry was hilarious and awesome. But
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, TV's a little better, I guess, but film wise, why do you think that is? What's going on with that? I mean, do you have an opinion on why comedy isn't king anymore in film?
It is in terms of stand-up. It's never been bigger. Like, I always tell people this.
Well, I mean, with Netflix and all the stand-up specials and stuff, but I mean film, like a comedy film.
Well, I can tell you why, and I just did something on my podcast about this. It's because, I mean, dude, Malibu's Most Wanted, it's probably a felony to make that movie now, right? Like people get so mad, it gets so offended. So it's the voice of a few that affect the eyes of the many, right? Mm-hmm. So it's these loud voices. So they did a poll on American Pie for Gen Zers, right? I talk about it on my pod. And basically they polled like 30 people, 16 to 19 years old, and they had multiple problems with American Pie. And one is that it was very problematic that he was trying to hook up with the foreign exchange student, and all the boys, all they seemed to do in the movie just wanted to have sex. And the other guys were like, oh, they were high-fiving him because he was a winner because he got sex. And then he didn't value anything with the woman but sex. Like, this is a real poll that's broken down. So, I mean, you know what's up. Yeah. The new culture is soft, dude. It's softer than Charmin. Like, it's wild. And I went to the comments and the woman said, it's a comedy. That's what it's for. Right. And I do a joke about it. I don't have it worked out yet, but like, if you want to complain about me, like what you're saying, if the younger, I hate to be like this, might get off the lawn. If you want to complain about me, don't be mad at me. I was raised on John Hughes movies, okay? Weird Science, okay? I would try to emulate those parties. I was raised on 16 Candles. You get drunk, you get the hot chick. I was raised on Back to School. I was raised Hollywood Nights, Porky's. I mean, that was like, you cut the whole, you try to peek in the girls' room. Like, my first movie I ever got to rent was literally Class and Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I didn't know what I was renting. I was 12. So it's like, I was raised on Scarface. Like I watched that movie like 30 times. It was like one of the few videotapes that my mom never returned. So it was like, and I was thinking about it. Remember the song? I don't want to get in trouble with ASCAP, but she's just 16 years old. Leave her alone. They say, like, I never knew what the hell we were singing, right? So it's like we were raised with stuff that was just the way it was. And now when I auditioned for American Pie. You know what I mean? Like I aspired after watching those movies to be like, oh damn, this would be a great life. And then they make these movies, but now they're considered
offensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. And I wish more people would have the balls to make films like that again. Just because, you know,
where do you distribute them? You get put on Prime.
You know what? It is, you know, it would find an audience. There's enough people like us that are frustrated with the PC bullshit. I mean, you could never make a movie like Porky's today. They would lose their mind.
Oh God!
What about Soul Man?
God.
Remember the movie Soul Man? See Thomas Howell.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, but yet there's also how is Robert Downey Jr. got away with it in Tropic Thunder? I mean, it's kind of you just, I don't know. I don't even know if Robert Downey Jr. could get away with that today.
You couldn't. You couldn't
I
get
don't
away
know
with that today. And I think that something, again, going back to the conversation I was having with my friend, where he believes everything is funny. Everything is funny. There's nothing.
You shouldn't. There isn't anything you shouldn't be able to touch in comedy.
There's nothing that you shouldn't be able to laugh about. And I think it's because of the society. Don't you think we've become just so serious? And so now nothing is funny. Now nothing is funny. You're not allowed to laugh at anything. And I think that's a big reason why you're not seeing comedies and stuff. It's because you're not allowed to laugh at anything, because it's so quote unquote subjective. You know, what's funny to this person isn't funny to that person. But like, you can't laugh at anything anymore without offending somebody.
No.
If I could put my tinfoil hat on, it's a super, I'm not left or right, but it's a super left leaning, super liberal agenda. Hollywood is run by much more liberal minded people that are less humorous. You know what I mean? Like, you used to be able to be on a set, and you could be on a set with Deborah Messing, who's probably extremely liberal, and Tim Allen, who's a Republican, but everybody coexisted. You know it. You didn't know people's political leanings on set, right? You just be on a set with people, right? And everybody had, remember in the 80s, Reagan, everyone loved Reagan. I mean, he was a Republican. Hollywood loved Reagan. He's from Hollywood. And so Reagan would be considered like a communist or whatever. I don't know. He'd be considered too far right, I guess. So that has happened. And also, dude, social media is giving everybody a voice. And I say a lot of people should be voiceless. I mean, let's just be real, because comedy is being exposed to everyone. Like, you can see it more than ever now. And now more people are going that would never like it at all, would never like it, can comment on it. So they're like, this is fucking terrible. They don't have any idea what nuance is, irony, sarcasm. And they're just, so there's so many unfunny people that can comment. The rest is history.
And do you think the content, there was a movie, I just watched it last night.
Dude, Kentucky Fried Movie. Good luck.
And there was a movie I just watched last night by one of the Farrelly brothers, and it was called Ricky Stenicki. Have you guys seen this movie?
I haven't.
I just watched it, and I'm a fan of the Farrelly brothers. This is just one of them. It wasn't both of them, but I don't know what that's all about. But
who are those guys? I know the name. What are they known for?
Something about Mary Dumb and Dumber.
Farley Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, the Farley Brothers. Yeah.
You said the Farrellys?
I said the Farrelly. Sorry.
I thought they were Italian.
Farley.
The Farrellys.
But it's a new movie by one of them, and it's fucking terrible. Like, it's so watered down, and it's just dick jokes, and you're just going, and I'm not afraid of a dick joke, but your whole movie's a big dick joke. I feel like the content that we're doing now isn't even, take away the social media of it, take away everyone's opinion of it. Just when you do finally sit down and see a comedy, the content, the writing is so bad. It's just not, there isn't any more John Hughes, John, that's gone. You know what I mean? Like,
and even John Hughes would get canceled for. I mean, you couldn't get away with Weird Science. You couldn't get away with 16 Candles and Long Duck Dong and all that.
You couldn't do Breakfast Club now. Yeah.
Creating a woman in your bedroom.
Right there, canceled.
Sexualizing a woman in your bedroom.
Canceled.
Yeah, like, you're right.
But I mean,
like,
that was so rude what they did to the grandparents and put them in the cupboard.
But why does the pendulum
disrespectful to the elders?
Why does the pendulum have to swing so far one way or the other? Why can't
it doesn't?
Why can't we just
people are
go in the
allowing it
middle?
to. That's the problem. People are allowing it to. And I say, fuck those people. That's what I don't give a shit. You know what? I'm going to like what I'm going to like. And you know what? If I think something's funny, I'm going to laugh at it. And tough shit. If your feelings get hurt, guess what? You're going to get over it. You know, it's not a physical wound. You know, oh, you hurt my feeling. You know what? Be an adult, learn how to deal with those sort of things. That's how we grew up. We got bullied in school. We got called, homo and all this crap. And, and we somehow were able to rise above it. You know what I mean? I mean, I was teased and bullied. And guess what? I think it made me a better person. You grow thick skin. You learn how to adapt. You learn how to, if everybody's constantly coddling you and giving you participation prizes and all this stuff, you're never going to learn anything, man.
Yeah, like, I think there's a big audience for comedy, obviously, because you see it with podcasts and you see it with stand-up specials, and there's tickets are selling. The problem is that there's people that try to not let it exist.
Yeah.
And it's, so the big thing is what you're saying is, yeah, I mean, where are the raunchy comedies that you can make today for $10 million? I remember I had an audition and I had Disney, remember Disney, Hollywood Pictures, and then something else. They had 3 divisions, and you would audition for 3 comedies in a day. You know what I mean? $8-9 million movies, with Dude, Where's My Car, or, Biodome. And that's just like, they're not making them because of many reasons, but one of the reasons is because they don't want to like piss off this, certain group of people, I guess.
I mean, you couldn't even make Superbad today,
No, dude, you're not wrong. That's crazy. You're right.
Yeah.
That's not wrong. But I think the big thing is that that's making comedy in terms of it bigger because of the appetite, because you feel like you're being repressed from it. It's like, fuck you, I want to enjoy it more. So it's making people more voraciously hungry. But what's wild is what you're saying is, doesn't feel like horror gets that pushback. They're still killing ingenues left and right. It's still super bloody, and horror doesn't get any pushback, but jokes do. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I think horror gets pushed back. I think it does. I think horror's been watered down considerably lately. I mean, unless you consider gore edgy, which I don't. I don't. Just because something's gory doesn't mean it's edgy or pushing the boundaries or anything like that. That's easy to do. But I think horror gets pushed back now. That's why you see so many watered down, terrible horror movies. Like, that's my biggest get off my lawn is movies these days. I don't know. Is it because I'm old? Is it because my tastes have changed? I don't think so. I just don't see the content. The quality of the content that we're creating is just terrible to me. It's on every level, on every genre. It's just, I don't get it. I know.
Yeah.
But movies are less and less. You only get a few big movies now that make an impact. And I think what it's going to be. Don't you think the movie business is dwindling?
I do, and I don't even think the big movies that are supposedly causing that impact are even that good. I watched the Oscars for the first time the other day. I haven't watched the Oscars since I was on it, but I haven't. But I haven't watched it. But I decided to sit down and really watch it because I saw a lot of the movies and I was curious of what was going to win and what people liked and what the Academy voted for. And I was shocked, to be honest with you. Most of the big giant movies that I'm watching that are considered masterpieces really aren't that great. It's not that good. I don't know. And it's maybe because I grew up in the heyday of awesome movies, in the 70s and the early 80s. Maybe or is that because I'm old? I don't know. What is that? What it is? I just don't see the quality of film making very good these days. And I don't think I'm alone in thinking that,
No, I agree.
But are the younger generation, is that what they consider, because they don't have any knowledge of the heyday of film and filmmaking and cinema, are the newer movies, that's what they consider great? The bigger the budget, the bigger the name, the better the movie. Is that all it means? I don't know.
I'll say this, Chris, the people that come to the cons, I can't tell you how many high schoolers and middle schoolers talk about Scream, and they really do love it. So I do feel that they're going back and visiting classics, and this girl the other day, she was 14, she's talking about the first Nightmare. So I do feel like the new movies are introducing them, and then the cinephiles that they're creating do go back and look at the classics, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you guys seen anything recently? Anything good or bad? What have you guys been watching?
I haven't really watched anything. I want to go see Dune Part 2. It's supposed to be a masterpiece. I want to see it.
Yeah, Matt went and saw it Thursday night before the convention. He flew into KC and went to the theater and watched it by himself.
Wow.
He loved it. So
yeah, I got to go see it. It sounds like it's amazing.
I'm not a big Dune fan.
I'm not either.
I tried to watch the first one. I got through it. I was kind of like, meh. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan really of the David Lynch version either.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm right there with you. I read the book and I wasn't crazy about the book. So, but
didn't see the miniseries. Sorry, I missed that.
I didn't see that. I saw the Iron Claw.
I did. I just watched that the other night too,
which wasn't bad.
I liked it.
It's depressing as fuck.
Very. Like, Jesus Christ, this family has bad luck.
You're just like, good God. But a good film.
And I'm really surprised by Zac Efron's performance. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and Jesus Christ, what a body transformation! My Lord.
Yeah, amazing.
That's nuts. That guy got insanely huge for that.
And
you know, we're talking about it all, Jamie. The wrestling movie.
Yeah, I know that. I got to see that movie. Everybody says it's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
About the family wrestlers.
Yeah.
It's depressing as fuck. So don't go into it thinking it's a feel good or that it's going to end up on a high note, because it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's rough.
My buddy works on. Did you ever see this show? It's called The Dark Side of the Ring.
No.
Know of it. Been wanting to see it.
You ever see Beyond the Mat?
I'm not a wrestling fan.
Beyond the Mat, Chris. You would love Beyond the Mat. It's a wrestling documentary. It follows everybody, Jake the Snake and everybody. I mean, I'm not a huge mark of wrestling. I don't know enough about it, but I got to know some wrestlers because they work in regular movies, and it's what a world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I bet the Iron Claw is incredible, but like Beyond the Mat, wow. I actually think you gotta watch it. It's a deeply. Did you ever see The Wrestler?
Yeah.
Did you like The Wrestler?
Yeah.
The wrestler fucked with my business for a little while, because every new client I tried to get for like 2 years after that movie, it was like, well, this ain't gonna be like The Wrestler, is it? Like, you know, remember that scene in the gym?
Right. Wait, because he goes to con signings?
Yeah.
but it's in a fucking gym and he's sitting at a table all depressed. Kind of like that Virgil guy that you'd always see the memes of, who just passed away, by the way. There was that meme, you'd see a Virgil sitting at a table in a parking lot. It was like pretty sad.
Who's Virgil?
He was a wrestler. And he was one of those guys that just never was really famous. And he'd be at every convention. I'd see that dude everywhere, man. And he was kind of, I mean, I hate to talk ill of the dead, but he was kind of the running joke in the convention industry. Like, you know, that was like, you want to be a Virgil, you know, it's kind of like the Munson, you know, you want to get Munsoned from Kingpin. But lately, Nay and I have been watching old movies. Like, some reason we decided she'd never seen the Rocky movies. So, and I said, well, you know, the first Rocky is a phenomenal film, Academy Award winning, blah, blah, blah. Watched it, loved it, went on to Rocky 2, which I had not seen in forever. Rocky 2 is not good.
It's great.
It is pretty bad. Pretty bad. And then Rocky 3 gets better, gets a little more flashy, obviously. You got
Clubber Lang. It's so 80s.
So 80s. And it's going to get even more 80s when we finally jump into Rocky 4.
Yeah.
But we watched LA Confidential last night.
I watched that recently again, too. That's so funny that you said that.
I used to really, really, really love that movie. Upon this viewing, a little slower than I remembered, but still a good movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow. I really like Rocky too. I gotta watch it again.
Pretty bad. The whole movie, man, it's like he doesn't want to box again, and he's trying to get real jobs, and he's going in trying to get desk jobs. I really like to work at the desk, you know. I can, you know, I can push paper. Yeah. And then he ends up working the meat packing factory for a day and gets fired. It's literally like an hour and 10 minutes of him trying to find a job, and then, do you want the fight? Okay, boom, training montage. Let's get into it, you know.
Right. I watched Wonka. Wonka.
I want to hear this.
Well, I didn't get through Wonka.
Oh, okay.
I hate to say this. I fell asleep. So I gotta give it another shot. But
how was what you saw?
It looks great. It's like almost every movie that I see. It looks great. Like, it looks fantastic. I felt the same thing with Poor Things. I was like, it looks great.
I really want to see Poor Things.
But I don't like anybody in movies anymore. I watch movies and I don't like anybody. When did we start making movies about people that you don't like all the time? Like, nobody has any redeeming qualities whatsoever. I keep watching these movies going, I don't like anybody in any of these. Didn't it used to be you were supposed to like somebody?
This isn't get off my lawn. This is I'm burning my lawn down.
Totally.
What did you think of Poor Things?
I thought it looked great.
But it wasn't a good movie?
I
keep seeing all these comparisons to Frankenhooker.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, although I don't know.
Frankenhooker's a better film.
Frankenhooker, I enjoyed Frankenhooker better than Poor Things. It's filled with metaphors. Like, there's just metaphor after metaphor after metaphor in Poor Things. But you know, watch it. You might really dig it. Stephanie loved it. I know a lot of people that liked it. Just wasn't for me. I don't want to shit on it too much, but I was just sitting there going, you know, wow, they put the brain of a child into a grown woman and then she becomes a whore. Like, what? Did anybody else know?
Is that the plot of the movie?
It's pretty much it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like, it's crazy. You're like going, what? Did anybody else pick up on this, or is it just me?
What a wild idea.
You should check it out. It looks great. It's beautifully shot. Beautifully shot.
It just won a bunch of awards.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So let's talk about a couple things. All the online backlash from the Crow, Bill Skarsgård's The Crow. People are losing their shit. I mean, yeah, he looks it. That's not it. Doesn't look good. I will say this before we get into about the new hot topic, Crow. A friend of mine saw it already.
Oh, because I was just going to say, not to interrupt you, I was just going to say, I think everybody's overreacting off just the picture. Let's just take it easy with that. Like it's just a picture. Yeah. Everyone take it easily. Reserve your fucking opinion until you actually see the goddamn movie. So take it easy. But go
until I tell you what he said.
What he said.
He said it's a complete fucking utter dumpster fire. I mean, he said it is total garbage. He said that they selected him for the focus group after the screening.
Yeah.
And he said everybody in the focus group was just tearing it a new asshole. And it got so brutal that the person leading the focus group just said, okay, let's just wrap this up. This isn't going anywhere positive. Like they just.
Oh, wow. They cut it.
Yeah. He's like, dude, it is so incredibly bad. And it's like just want to be John Wick, like, but not nearly as good. And just he said everything that's great about The Crow is not in this movie. It's just anyway.
That's
and
too
then
bad, because I was hoping for the best. I was being positive for once. I'm being positive and being optimistic.
But on a good note, he also saw a screening of the new Beetlejuice, which he said was really, really good.
Oh, great.
And almost all practical effects and stop motion and everything. So,
oh, that's awesome. That's good to hear. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me
Your
too.
friend is like a focus group, like regular.
My friend lives right by the AMC theater in Burbank, where they're constantly passing out the passes.
Constantly there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny. I know that's where they do them. That's so funny.
I've been to a few there myself.
Me too. I saw Mad Max Fury Road at a screening there, which I wasn't a fan of. But anyway, that's interesting. I'm excited about Beetlejuice. That's cool.
Yeah. We got to talk about the big news. We got to talk about that announced yesterday that Neve Campbell is returning to Scream with Kevin Williamson writing and directing. Obviously, the internet blew up yesterday, as did my phone from every promoter that has booked Neve Campbell this year. Is this good or is this bad news? I'm like, we'll see, but I did ask her and she said it's probably not shooting till the fall. So most of them are safe, I think, for now. But I mean, what do you think about that, Jamie?
It's incredible, dude. I had heard rumblings possibly that this was going to, that could occur. And I think that, I mean, look, it's so wild for me to speak on it. So I want to, as you know, we're in the tightest of groups here. I mean, dude, I think it's great that she's probably going to get the money that she deserves. I think that she's the face of the franchise. I think she is, what it's built its whole thing on her back. So I think it's awesome. I mean, I think it's crazy cool that Kevin is directing one. I think that's, so, I mean,
I'm curious what he decides to do with it. I'm really curious.
I can tell you, and I'm sure you did. We had heard rumblings that it could happen. Do I know the story? No, I do not know the story at all. So it'll be fascinating to see what the story is. But it's awesome. I mean, she's back where she should be, and I think it was great.
Cool. We had a little text chain going yesterday of everybody congratulating. We got a little OG Scream text chain that I happen to be a part of because it's usually convention related, but everybody like congratulating her and her saying thank you and blah blah blah, and That was very nice. I think the one thing though, because I don't know if you've seen the backlash already, some slight backlash about, well, what about Melissa and what happened with her? And I don't know, obviously I know nothing about that. And having just spent the weekend with Melissa, because she just did her first convention with us this weekend. And by the way, I have to say, one of the sweetest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. She is just a genuine, so amazing with the fans, drop dead gorgeous, just super cool chick. From having the conversations we had at dinner Sunday night and everything, to my knowledge, none of us, saw this coming, and she's hasn't been reached out to my knowledge, based on the conversations we had, but nobody directly asked her. But I'm just wondering, because I've noticed some backlash already online of people saying, well, what about Melissa? And how could you guys do this without her and stand with Melissa and this and that? And I'm just curious if they're going to do anything with that, or just brush it under the rug. I mean, I'd hate to think that, they're just going to disregard that storyline and move on. I don't know.
But you can, if you wanted to. You
can
pretty
you
easily.
can.
That's the problem with the franchise, if you ask me, is that
they can.
You could start completely over and go and do something you don't need to carry that through.
Well,
this is such a dicey territory, but since you are literally the head of our new Scream family, and we have such a close-knit group that only so many people really understand, and Chris knows it pretty well too, since we go out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I'm just going to comment on it here. I haven't said anything publicly, but Melissa is a beautiful person. I mean, dude, she was awesome. She jumped right in with us. It was like, I wanted to say in my post, but I didn't know people would get it. It was like blood in, blood out. We're all family. Like, literally, like, I loved her. She is exactly what you said. She's a cool chick, an amazing sense of humor, so confident, present, owns her space, a role model, brave as fuck. Okay. She's got 3 huge movies coming out this year. Her getting fired was bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's say it's complete fucking bullshit. And I've never seen anything like it in this town, to have a rising star get fired in the middle of their ascension for an opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think it was that wild of an opinion. If I'm going to get in trouble for that, I can back it up. She was basically saying, I don't want to see people get hurt on either side.
Yeah.
That being said, can I be happy for Nev and sad for Melissa? Both things can be true.
Yeah.
And do I want them both to coexist in the world? Yes. And like I told Nev back in the day, I said, when she turned it down, I said the Vin Diesel model. You know what I mean? Like, he took off a couple Fast and Furiouses and it blew up bigger. I think Scream is riding higher than it's ever been, in a lot of ways. So I think Melissa will be back, just like Nev will be back. I think they'll mess her. The fandom is loving her, but I can love for Nev and feel for Melissa. And I wonder if I'm going to get feedback, but I don't give a fuck. It's crazy to me. The girl, have you ever seen anyone like Melissa is a Nev Junior, dude? She's classy. She's smart. She gets the joke. Did you look at how Hollywood is today? Look at all these thoughts, and you know what I'm saying? These women are classy, and yet they're getting, you know what I mean? Grief.
And she's genuine. She's
genuine.
I mean, when we were talking about it during dinner, and she broke down and kind of started crying just about just how overwhelmed she was for the support that she's had from everybody, and and how important all of that is to her, and it was a beautiful moment, honestly. And I mean, that girl is going to benefit from what they did to her. She is going to skyrocket higher because of the bullshit, and that she stood her ground, and she's got big movies coming out. She is going to give those guys the middle finger in such a huge way, and I love that for her, you know. And just the fact, and you know what, you know, with the minor controversy, you know, when I took her on and brought her into the fold and she did her first show, there's always in the back of your mind, is there going to be an incident? Will some asshole come over and say something or try to start something? Not a single one. Everybody was respectful, loving, and the fans just adored her. So, you know,
she has, dude, you saw it, that she has the backing of the fandom. 3,000 people were like, we're with you, Melissa, Team Melissa.
Yeah, in the Q&A. Like, yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, I got emotional. She got emotional. And like you said, we had a private dinner. And I don't want to say what's said, but she was it was a beautiful moment we had, all of us. And, you know, I'm happy for Nev. I want to see Scream thrive. It's bullshit that Melissa got fired. I think she'll be back. If not, I think she will soar. She will not be denied. She will have a huge career that she's already having. Yeah. And she's brave. How many people in Hollywood stand up for what they believe? Because she's literally willing to put her dollars on the line for her beliefs. Who does that? I mean, she's outstanding. Yeah. And a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. The one of the highlights, I should get, if you could send me the clip, I'll add it on here. The astronaut dude. So there's this guy. God, what's his name?
I forget. He was an astronaut.
He's an astronaut. He was one of the guests at the show. His name is eluding me at the moment, but he's an actual astronaut. And he brought these kind of like helium balloons with him, but it isn't helium. It's like the negative of helium. I forgot what the gas is called, but it's something that I think they only have access to, like NASA or something. And if
it's
you
like
inhale,
argon in that family.
What is it?
It's basically what he said is there's 2 tables of gases on the contents. The one on the right side fuck with you. The one on the left doesn't. And so I was like, what? Helium has no side effects, I guess he said. So this was like in the argon family. And where helium makes you higher, this gas makes your voice insanely low. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Jamie did it first.
Well, Sean signs me up. He's like, NASA wants to do a test. And I was like, end of the weekend delirious. He's like, just suck this balloon down full of gas and it'll be funny.
well, no, this is what happened. The astronaut dude hit me up and said, hey, you know, do you think any of your clients would want to do this? It could be funny, you know, like, I guess he had done it with, I forgot who he said, some celebrity did it and posted a video and it went viral. And he said, you know, I've got 2 balloons left. Do you have 2 people that might want to try? I said, Jamie would do it. So I go and I asked Jamie, you want to do this and make a video, be funny? And so he decided, you know, well, we got to figure out what you're going to say. So he decides he's going to do the rules, you know, from Scream. So he stands up on his chair, inhales this balloon, and he starts doing it. And it sounded like so crazy, man, because it's like right down here like that, you know, and
sounded like Satan.
Yeah, it sounded like Satan, and he's yelling the rules. And you got to send me the video. I'll drop it in here so people can see it.
Volunteered me.
Wait.
There you go. That's it. Keep going. Keep going. That's good. That's on.
There are certain rules one must abide by in order to survive a horror movie. You can never have sex. Sex equals death. You can never drink or do drugs. And never say, I'll be right back.
Dude, that was crazy.
I know. Because you won't be back. Holy shit! Yo!
So then his Alyssa did it too. She had a little bit left, and Alyssa did it, and that killed me. Because when coming out of her, because she's got such a high voice, and she goes, I can feel it in my throat. I was dying, man.
I can't wait for this one. You gotta do it.
Wait, what am I gonna say?
Say anything. Just suck it all in. Get it all in.
You should be good now.
Hello?
Keep talking.
Hello? Oh, it sounds like there's a bubble in my throat.
Holy shit, that was so cool!
So he's like, I got one left, and he goes, you should pick somebody with a higher voice. It's obviously funnier. So I said maybe Melissa would want to do it. So I asked her, and she did it, and it was so damn funny. I filmed that one, so I have that one. I can show it here, but it was so funny and she was like, well, what should I say? And Jamie goes, well, I did the rules, whatever. So she did a couple lines from Scream.
Bro, you fucking volunteers.
All right.
It's all right.
Oh, shit, we lost it.
We don't need a marble. We're okay. It's okay. It's not
Marble down.
All right, so exhale everything out.
I'm nervous.
It's gonna be funny.
Remind me the instructions while I
So
exhale.
exhale it all, and then just take in the whole movement.
as much as you can.
Yeah, as
Big,
much
big
as you
breath.
can. One big breath. Exhale. Out. Quickly, and do as quick as possible.
There you go. That's great. Keep going.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Okay,
All
that's
right,
good.
you're good.
Always gotta shoot him in the head. Oh my god! Oh.
Never fuck with the daughter of a serial killer.
You're in my movie now.
She's going.
I love you, Jamie Kennedy. Thank you, Blended Comic Con.
Yeah.
No more. That was wonderful.
When her voice dropped, because as soon as you start to talk, you hear it change immediately. It is funny, man. It is really
Chris,
funny.
Good stuff.
It's bizarre. It feels like you're on a synthesizer. It goes in your lungs and it weighs on your vocal cords. And so I guess it's vibrating so slow, and
Right.
that's why. And a voice came out of me I never thought I was capable of. It was so cool. And then of course the guy's like, well, and I was like, there was half a balloon left, so I sucked more, and then I did another line, and then I sucked again. He's like, stop sucking. And I got paranoid. He's like, no, you have to get it out of your lungs, I guess. But it's
Right.
basically the gas, he said, was used to, I don't know, this is so crazy. It's funny that Sean's had us do this. The gas is so dense that in space it's used to plug up so there's no air in between something. So whatever you're doing, the gas will fill that space so nothing can penetrate it. And you need that. So it was cool, really cool. But they were like the aerospace technology NASA guy. They had a table at this convention for some
That's
reason.
awesome. I would have spent my entire time there.
Yeah. But it was
Yeah.
wild. And that's when they made me feel better. Like, yeah, these gases are harmless. These gases are harmful.
Yeah, I'll drop in his name and picture and everything here. I want to say it was Steve something. Nay got a couple autographed pictures from him. He was a really cool guy. She's really fascinated with space and
I am
all
too.
that.
I love astronomy and all that shit. Dunkin' Donuts.
I know, dude. I should get sponsored, bro.
You should.
I don't know how we don't have a sponsorship.
Weren't we offered a couple of them and we just didn't do it?
Really?
Yeah,
You
we
guys
were offered some, but it was like nothing good.
It was Fangoria.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. You sent it to me. It was Fangoria to do Fangoria subscriptions and also some kind of like nose trimmer or something like that.
Shit, we should have. You know what? I think I just forgot about it.
Yeah, we
That's
had
how
a
you
couple-
start. You
We
start
had
with
two.
choice
Yeah,
and work
we
your way
had two
up.
or three of them, but we just didn't do it. We because our shows are so few and far between. We were like, yeah, fuck it. But we should do it. I'll do it. Let's do it. Dunkin' Donuts. Fuck
Speaking
it.
of which, I do need to pimp something here. This dude who went to my high school, actually. He heard where I went to high school, and he happened to go to my high school. He sent me a couple bottles. I have one for you, which I keep meaning to give to you. It's still sitting in my car with the rest of your stuff. This is called, let me put it here. Music to Your Mouth. It's hot sauce. Himalayan jalapeno. Dude, this stuff is bomb. This stuff is bomb. That's why it's almost empty.
High school.
Dude.
What? That looks insane.
It's really good. Nay's hooked on it. Every time we do breakfast burritos.
You can have my hot sauce because I don't eat hot sauce.
I don't either. I don't either. This is actually really good. It doesn't taste like hot. Okay. It tastes like it's like a really good salsa kind of like. I think you'll like it. I mean, give it a shot. Called? Music to Your Mouth.
It looks super like fresh.
It is really good.
Homemade.
Fresh was not the word that I thought was going to come out of your mouth. It was awesome.
Well, it's half eaten, so
fresh.
Before I forget, I got a letter here from a fan. Hi, Sean and Christopher. I just wanted to send you guys another piece of my infamous art damage. While I'm at it, I'll ask you both a question for the next episode of the podcast. Sean, will you be at Astronomicon in April? I saw Jamie Kennedy and Skeet Ulrich were booked there. No, I won't be there, but Jamie will. I'm taking that weekend off. Christopher, did you get to hang out with Mushroom Head and Fishbone on the sets of The Rage and The Tripper?
I did. I hung out with not Mushroom Head, but I hung out. Yes, I did. Yes, both. Yeah, I did. Yes.
I'm friends with the Mushroom Head guys.
Very lovely gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Your podcast is still the best there ever will be. Jimmy, is it Ryan? I don't know. Anyway, he made this for you.
Oh, lovely. Oh, is that my little face on there?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And then
wow.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you so much. That was
Jimmy,
nice.
You need to get a hobby, sir. Thank you.
Jimmy.
Who's gonna be manning the fort in Michigan?
Nay.
All right.
Yeah.
Jamie's okay with that. He's okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
He's okay with that.
I mean, as much as I love Nay, we live together, we work together. Having a little time apart is not so bad,
Right.
I mean, we're together constantly.
Right.
And I'm trying to, at my advanced age of 53, I'm trying to not have to travel as much because, dude, it's brutal on you. As you guys know, you guys travel a lot. If you're traveling every weekend, it just kills you. Yeah. So if there's certain shows I can get away with not having to go to, ones that may not be as crazy as like last weekend, I had to be there. Kansas City. There's no way I could have missed that show. Astronomicon, smaller show, won't be as hectic, less clients. She can handle it. So
you got to do that. You got to take care of yourself. Got to take care of yourself sometimes.
So speaking of podcasts, even though that guy proclaimed us the greatest of all time, Jamie has one as well.
Indeed.
And I've been on it. I was on it, talked a lot of shit on your episode. But what's it? Is it just called the Jamie Kennedy podcast? Or what's it?
Oh, I'd hate to break it to you.
Oh, it wasn't called that when when I was on it. You changed that recently, right?
I did? Maybe. Probably was just called Jamie Kennedy back then. But yeah, it's hate to break it to you.
Hate to break it to you.
Hate to break it to you.
I like it. I like your honesty. I was watching it the other day. It's good stuff. I enjoy it.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. It's I do it on Mondays, every Monday at 8:00. And it's slowly growing. I just got my first sponsor. I'm trying to keep them, Sheath Underwear. So if you want, I can introduce you to Sheath guys. They're actually very it's like having like a woman wearing underwear, a woman cup your balls all day.
Wait,
Can I say that here?
I think I just bought a pair of their underwear literally at the Denver airport on the way to Kansas City. I think it's sheath. I gotta look.
Does it feel like a young 22-year-old?
Yeah,
cupping your
I'm
balls?
grabbing it. Hold on.
He's grabbing them. He's grabbing his underwear.
Wow, he's gonna get. I got a lot of pairs. I could have gave him some. But it comes every Monday at 8, and then on Friday I do a Patreon of kind of, hate to break it to you, with a subset called Worlds on Fire, where I react to a lot of crazy videos, and it's on Patreon not because I'm trying to make money. It's because you can't say certain shit on YouTube without getting dinged.
Right.
And,
It wasn't sheath. It's shinesty. Another ball pouch.
That's so funny. What a weird thing. The ball pouches are becoming popular. But yeah, on Friday I do a Patreon, World is on Fire, which is like an offshoot of the show. But
I love the name World is on Fire, because it is on fire.
it is, and not to be crazy, not to prolong the show, but like, there was just a big thing this morning about they're trying to ban TikTok.
Yeah,
and now
I saw that,
which is insane, right? And now in my circles, people are rumbling or saying that Rumble could be next, And the reason
What's
I go
Rumble?
on Patreon is because the shit I get demonetized on certain shit. I don't even say anything if you mention certain words. Right. So it's insane what's going on right now. It's insane. Like,
I'm not too broken up about the TikTok thing just because I hate TikTok culture.
I do too.
But dude, TikTok, you could say whatever you want, but you can find things you like. You can find whatever you're interested in, whether it's fucking Mesa Boogie amps or fucking old fucking Crow, DVD bootlegs, whatever you're into, you'll find that. So it is a way to communicate to your fellow person.
Right.
It sucks that they're going to take it down.
Yeah. Are they going to take it down?
I don't. I heard that that's going to get squashed though in the Supreme Court or whatever.
Yeah,
like it'll get to there, and then that's what I was listening to the news today. They said they don't think it'll get past the final step because of freedom of speech kind of stuff. So who knows? But I mean, I understand the concerns that if China really is taking our info and using it, whatever, that's not cool. But whatever. I hate TikTok culture, and I want all those stupid kids on TikTok to have to go get real jobs. So that's all I got to say about that.
I'm with you on that.
So, I got some get off my lawns here though.
That was a get off your lawn.
Yeah, that's kind of a get off the lawn there. I went to Disneyland with Nay. It was 2 weeks ago or something, and it's such a nightmare to get in fucking Disneyland now. I mean, the parking structure is like 2 miles away. You have to go up 25 levels. You have to walk. You got to do like 18 fucking escalators to get down to the thing. Then you got to go through security before you can even get to the tram that drives your ass over to the front, where you got to then get in another line to get in the fucking park. It's bonkers what a pain in the ass it is. Yeah. Well, I get to the security line, and usually the deal I thought always was if you have a backpack or a bag that needs to be searched, you have to put it on the table and the person goes through it. If you don't, you can walk around them, put your shit down, your wallet and keys down, walk through, and they hand it to you, whatever. So there's this lady in front of me with a ginormous fucking, remember I got in this last episode about the giant fucking stroller, 2-person stroller filled with shit, cooler, all kinds of shit, right? I'm looking at this going, this is going to be forever. So she walks up, I walk around her, and the guy on the other side goes, "Are you with her?" And I'm like, "No, I'm with her." I said a nay, and he goes, "Are you with her?" I go, "No," and he goes, "You need to get back in line." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because you're in line behind her." I go, "But you're not even the one checking me. This dude's checking her thing that's going to take forever. Why can't I just go through right now? You need to get back in line." So I stand there. I'm like this, like You gotta be fucking kidding. I go, dude, this makes no sense. This makes no sense at all. I'm standing there. Takes forever. Literally takes so long that the line next to me opens and this guy waves me over. And I go through that one. And so then I walk to that security guy and I go, seriously, bro, what was the purpose of that? I go, all you did was hold up everybody. All it does is hold up everybody. Slow down the entire process. That made no sense that I needed to stand there while she's looking through her fucking mini RV that she brought with her, when I just got a wallet and keys. Come on. And he just looked at me like it was just a fucking security guy on a power trip,
Sounds like a volunteer.
Yeah, give him a fake badge and
happiest place on earth. The happiest place on earth, baby.
So you had to wait behind all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they would allow you to bring so much stuff through security in Disneyland.
They do.
You can bring the contents of your fucking house to Disneyland.
As long as don't have a weapon or whatever, you can bring pretty much. They let you bring in food and drinks now.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I
will say Universal is much more stingy about stuff you can bring in than Disneyland is.
The problem is that she didn't have a child with her, but she had those double strollers.
Right. She had all her shit in one of those strollers.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I had some pushback in the comments on the last episode when I talked about this. I'm sorry. If you are such a little kid that you can't walk through Disneyland and you need to be in a stroller, you shouldn't be at Disneyland because you ain't going to fucking remember any shit you saw. You need to be, at least I went to Disneyland first when I was 7. That's a perfect age. Little kids in the stroller, passed out. I'm
you don't
sorry.
get to go.
You don't need to go. Get a fucking babysitter. Deal with it.
Same
with
with
some guy did a
plane. If you're getting on a plane with a fucking baby, you don't get to go anywhere.
All right.
Babies shouldn't be allowed on planes either. Dude, Nay and I paid for first class on this last flight, K-City. We don't always do first class, but we're like, you know what? I'm over it. I'm going to get first class. No, we're going to have a good weekend. Let's step it up. We pay for first class for this flight back from KC. Dude, the seat in front of us. We're in first class. Fucking baby. Seat in front of us. Losing its mind. I'm like, really? Can't there be a baby section or something? Something. That baby section should be in the back by the fucking toilet.
In the back.
I'm sorry,
Dude, this segment should be called "Get Out of My Amusement Park."
Get off my plane and my amusement park.
Get off my plane.
Dude, you're going to get pushback because there's a whole subsect of people that say adults with no kids that go to Disneyland ruin Disneyland for families. That's a fascinating pushback you're going to get.
Hey, there should, there should be family days and non-family days. Why not? Make everybody happy. But
I don't remember going to anything before I was 7. I went to the circus in Hershey Park. Hershey Park is in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you're going to pay $100 and something for your kid not to remember their experience at Disneyland. So anyway, some guy in the comments, and I'm sure he's going to see this and he's going to comment on this too. He said, Walt said that Disneyland was for adults and children alike. And I said, yeah, he didn't say fucking infants. He said children. He said children. All right. And, they're like, nobody wants to hear a middle-aged man complaining about strollers at Disneyland. But dude, when I'm dropping fucking $1,600 a year on an annual pass, I'm going to complain, bitch. I don't, dude, because they slow as fuck and you got to maneuver around them constantly. Oh, anyway, don't get me started with strollers.
How often you go? Once a month?
About twice a month.
You go twice a month to Disneyland?
Yeah, dude, you got to get your money's worth on that shit. We're
Holy
going
shit,
on
I
Monday.
can go once maybe every 4 or 5 years.
You live a lot further. You live a lot further from it too, though. I mean,
I do, but even when I go, I'm like, fuck, I'm there for 3, maybe 4 hours. I gotta get the fuck out.
well, that's
of there.
it. That's it. Well, see,
handle
that's what we do. We go at night, so we'll go at like 6 p.m. Stay till midnight. So we'll go when the crowds are starting to leave. We go have dinner. It's like Monday night, we got reservations at the Blue Bayou. We're gonna go have dinner. We'll probably ride a couple rides. It's like a chill little,
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
There are people like Nick Cage, I heard, used to go all the time. So
I've seen him at the park. I've seen him while I was there. I saw Nick and his son, the death metal kid.
You know, that's wild. I've been, but not like that. But I will say, when I go to Universal, especially when I work, I've probably done that tour 8 times. Even like after I'd wrap work, I would take the tour because I do love that tour. So I guess that's an Anaheim thing, Chris. People really from there. Sean grew up with.
I grew up right down the street. Used to watch the fireworks every night before I went to bed. I mean, I can
see that because Universal's right down the street from me, and I would I would go to Universal, just go, fuck it, I'm going to Universal. And just fucking go.
I'd be like, I'm gonna jam over there and get a butter beer, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I have an annual pass for Knott's Berry Farm too. I'll go there and just, eat some bad food. You know, they have one thing that's cool about Knott's is
boysenberry.
They have tons of cool boysenberry thing, like boysenberry pork chops, boysenberry corn dogs, I mean, it's good shit. But let me see. I got another get off my lawn here. So goes back to the TikTok bullshit. And I've been noticing this a lot on YouTube and mainly on YouTube, the YouTube shorts. I'm so sick of these fucking shorts that suck you into it and they loop and they kind of trick you and then you realize, oh shit, it started over. You know what I'm talking about? How they do that? How they trick you with the loop? It'll be something like, I'll give you an example. It'll be something like Michael Myers is the greatest slasher of all time. But then it ends with, so this makes me wonder, why is Michael Myers the greatest slasher of all time? And then it'll go into the thing again. You're like, oh, wait a second. It's looping. This fucking, they sneakily connect the end to the beginning. You know what I mean?
It's a click loop.
It's a click loop. Those motherfuckers. I hate that shit. I'm never making those. Let's see.
They got you though.
They got you.
I keep getting sucked in.
Do they have sponsors? We don't have sponsors.
No sponsors. They don't love us. Check this out. This is funny. I have notes of things I've wanted to talk about, and there's a note in here that's a story that involves you, Jamie. So I want you to tell the story because I was going to tell the story, but since you're here, I was just waiting for the right time.
Oh boy.
I want to tell the story when we were leaving the hotel in Ocala and we were heading to dinner.
Yes.
And what happened as we were walking to that Mexican restaurant.
He can't even remember.
An RV pulls up.
Oh, are you talking about the first Ocala? Okay.
Yeah.
So you want me to just tell the story?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Let me tell this because basically we're going to Ocala. I love Ocala. It's but there's not. It's either you have to find a place to eat because it closes early. Yeah. So we're all going. We're leaving the hotel. It's me, you, Nay, Alyssa, a couple of us. It was a smaller weekend.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we hear, toot, toot, yo, dude, get in. And we look to see this huge RV, and a person leans out the window.
Who's driving?
Corey. He's driving, and it's Corey.
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. And Corey goes, dude, get in. And I go, what? He goes, we're going to go eat. And I go, we're going to go eat. And he goes, well, we're going to go to Chuck E. Cheese. And I go, Corey, you're going into Chuck E. Cheese with your band and a bunch of people in the back of an RV? He's like, yeah, dude, it's awesome. And I was like, we got reservations at this Mexican spot. But I love it. And he's like, all right, dude, we'll come next time. I love Corey, but I just didn't go to Chuck E. Cheese that night.
Now,
that's the story.
That's
yeah.
it?
Now had the Chuck E. Cheese been open,
Could you imagine if I went to Chuck E. Cheese, Jamie Kennedy and Corey Feldman pull up to an RV and a Chuck E. Cheese?
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock when Chuck E. Cheese was already closed?
Who wants to go to the ball pit?
Yeah, it would have been
young horror heads in there as well.
Yeah, that's one part you did kind of leave out. Yeah.
Well, you can add that in.
Well, there were a couple young ladies that we saw get in the RV, because we saw them getting into the RV as we were leaving the hotel.
Oh, okay.
We saw them getting in, and we're walking, and then he pulls up, and it was just so funny that Corey was the one driving it too.
I was going to say Corey Feldman's driving the RV.
I just remember somebody making a comment like, "Oh, those girls."
Contract.
I just remember somebody making a comment like, "Oh, those girls look kind of young," and then it was like, "Hey, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese." Now, mind you, not underage young, but young.
Right.
Jesus, R.I.P. to my text. I'm going to get a text for this segment. Jesus. You literally want me to throw Corey under the RV. No, it looked all above board, but it was a little wild that he was going to a fucking Chuck E. Cheese at 9 o'clock in his RV. It was like, what?
Yeah, they were angels in training, I think. You know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Young angels.
Yeah, the young angels. All right, let's see. We're gonna have to wrap this up here.
Wrap it up.
So where can they throw out all your info, Jamie, or where they can catch you on the various internets?
Pretty much, you can just go to jamiekennedy.com and everything will be there. But my Insta's the Jamie Kennedy, and everything else, TikTok, X, all of it's Jamie Kennedy. The only one that's different is the Jamie Kennedy on Insta. But you
YouTube,
can watch it.
What's your YouTube channel?
YouTube is Jamie Kennedy.
Okay.
It's the one with about 75,000 subscribers, and that's it. You know, I got all my schedule. I got my con schedule along with my stand-up schedule. My next con is Astronomicon with me and Skeet. That you're not going to, but your lady will handle it.
I'll be seeing you maybe the weekend after or 2 weeks after
in Calgary.
Calgary Comic-Con.
All of us will be there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then
Even
I'm gonna be
Nev.
doing comedy in Destin, Florida. I'm actually playing a rock club. So just go to my website, 22nd, 23rd, jamiekennedy.com.
Very
And
cool.
got any cool guests coming up on the pod that you can tease?
Let me see. I have a couple. Fuck. I actually have a couple I did, but I don't know if they're gonna allow me to release them. So let's just say this: I've got some good people, but I don't know if they're gonna allow me to release them. But I got.
When you say they, who do you mean? Like the guests who did the pod, or Big Brother?
No, I think the guest is wondering if they want to release it, and it happens sometimes. But hopefully, I'll get them to let me release it because they're good apps. But no, I don't have anything I can tease yet. But you know, I've always had people from all different walks of life come on.
Well, shit like that happens. I remember. I remember Bernthal. You know, John Bernthal has his Real Ones podcast. I was over at his house. This is a few years back. I was over at his house, and he was just getting it going, and he popped on. One of the first episodes he did was with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, geez.
And then right after that, all the shit hit the fan with Shia. And so he never released it, but then reshot an episode with him. So I know sometimes things can happen, and, you know.
Yeah.
You
know, I always want to make people feel good. So
yeah, of course, you know. And if there was anything you said in this episode that you really would rather not be in there, when you think about it later, there's time and we edit. So
yeah.
But I know you're 100% real, and you would never let the man hold you down, Jamie.
Never. Never let it affect my pocketbook.
Never.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. We love you, and I'll be seeing you soon on the road again.
Thank you for coming on, Jamie. We really appreciate it. It was super fun to talk with you and hang out and look, everybody out there who's watching, I know it's tough out there right now. And in the words of Jamie Kennedy, the world is on fire, if you ask my opinion. But hang in there, be kind to each other, be cool to each other, get up every morning and do your best. That's all you can do. Just be cool to each other, man. And
just remember, the thing with Two Heads Podcast is the giant extinguisher to help put that fire out.
That's right.
Just listen to this and we make everything better.
But thank you, Jamie, so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks you guys for having me. Love you guys. It was awesome. Thank you.
Hey everybody! So people have been wondering, Sean, how do we get merch? How do we get t-shirts? How do we get Horrors Hollow Ground stuff? How do we get throw rugs? How do we get Thing with Two Heads stuff? How do we get blankets? You want a onesie for a baby, a kazoo. I don't think they do kazoos. Some people might even want Hollywood's Hollow Ground stuff. The collection with Sean Clark, nobody wants to wear that as a shirt. Anything that they'll slap the logos on, you want to be able to get it, right? So if you go to tpublic.com/user/malfunction, I think that's it. You can order all kinds of good stuff. And people have been asking for Mark Beer's latest design. Mark Beer rules. He does a lot of our artwork, pretty much all of our artwork. The skull design. See it here? We're going to make that available now. Go to the website and order it now on anything you want. Am I moving my arms enough? I hope so. You want shirts, you want hoodies, you want things like that because you dig it. tpublic.com/user/malfunction. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting the channel. The more we grow this thing, the more content we can bring, the more stuff we can share with you guys. That's what it's all about, man. Being a community, like-minded people into the same shit. Rock and roll.
Gotta move your arms out now. Okay. What's that from?
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Okay, yeah. All right. I think that was good. I think it was a fun episode. We didn't talk about horror hardly at all, but
no, not at all. I was trying to find a segue to get into horror.
Yeah.
But it just never happened.